Should we go to the hat?
Let's go to the Raiders hat. All right.
First bowl?
You can't just open the hat and just see them all.
Why do we want to do this podcast this way? Sean, I think you actually have a pretty good setup for this.
Yeah, so I wanted to do the podcast this way because basically I watched Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan does it this way. It's not much more to it than that. It was like, well, I know that when I'm like in the mood to just kind of kill some time, if I see three random dudes who I don't really know that well, I'm not like huge fans of them yet, and they're talking for 45 minutes, I'm not making that investment. I'm not clicking that link no matter what the headline is. So I figured we could just break it up into shorter chunks, use video and YouTube instead of podcasting because I think way more people watch YouTube. Yeah, podcasting is...
We thought about doing a podcast. In fact, we recorded an episode. Tyler and I recorded a bunch, and we realized it's too hard to get listeners. The format is too complicated.
Right.
It takes a ton of work to edit a podcast.
I don't even want to tell someone to go find my podcast, subscribe to it, download it, listen to it when they're driving someday for 45 minutes. Like, that just seems like too much for me to ask.
And it's the rare person that listens to more than 3 podcasts. Like, 3 means you're a podcast listener, and like even that's kind of a lot to do.
Right.
Like, would you even deserve to be in that?
Yes,
we do. To get our foot in the door? Ugh.
So I figured shorter clips where it's like Jason explaining why Trump is a genius. Like, I'd click that, and it'd be 4 minutes of you talking about why Trump's a genius, and then the next clip would be there and be like, oh, and now they're talking about, like, Sean looking like a lesbian on Shark Tank. It's like, I'm going to click that too, and you may end up watching 45 minutes of it, but, like, you had your choice. It's a little snack size, you know?
I think it's simple. I mean, YouTube versus podcasting. YouTube's way better. Like,
Right.
let's not even...
There's
no question that this is better. It's going to be awesome. You continue watching the next clip after this clip.
I'll watch This Week in Startups with Jason Calacanis, but the only thing that hooks me into like a 2-hour episode is if I see a name that I really want to know what that person's going to say about a lot of topics.
Right. And that's like best case scenario. He's a great interviewer. Those are famous people. I've got the time, and then I'll like maybe watch that thing.
And I just know that he is going to have a lot of really good humble brag kind of insider stories, right?
He's going to mention Uber and Thumbtack 6 to 7 times per segment.
Yeah, he will talk about something that makes it seem like he's an insider, like some poker game where it's $5,000 a hand.
So I was just playing poker with Kanye the other day.
I can't say who, but this is what he's been saying recently. I don't know if you've heard this. So Jason Calacanis has been like on his podcast. I love his podcast. But there's so many humble brag moments where I'm just like
it's cringeworthy.
I just want him to say like, look, I know I'm doing this, and I just don't give a shit.
Right.
Because if he doesn't know he's doing it, then I lose a little respect. It's like, dude, you're not aware.
Well, he knows he's doing it.
He never really puts out on the table like, guys, I know I mentioned that I'm friends with Elon a lot, but I just like that I'm friends with Elon. If he just like acknowledged it instead of just being like, he just casually drops it so often that like I feel like he.
As it turns out, I'm friends with Chamath. I play poker with him.
Right.
It's $5,000 a hand. Sometimes he'll say like, "What? You don't carry $5,000 with you?" And he'll bring it out and drop it on the table.
Right. We call this a cranberry. It's a chick from the bicycle. It's like we know that's a cranberry. Okay, but like recently he's been talking about how he's going to run for mayor. You seen this?
Mayor of what? Where?
San Francisco.
Oh,
Him against Kara Swisher. That'd be great.
So he's got JasonForMayor.com. He's got the handle Jason the Mayor or something like that. And basically he started off just saying like, because he moved from LA to San Francisco, so he's like, okay, why are there so many homeless people here? Why do we have this like housing crisis? Why is like the traffic so bad? Why like blah 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 like certain things that he just feels are like unnecessary. Why is the crime rate so high? Certain things that he's just like a city that's prospering like San Francisco shouldn't have these problems. Fair point.
Yeah.
And then he like took that and be like, you know what? I should be the mayor. And then what he says is at these poker games, he's like, 2 very influential people, 2 of the most powerful people in Silicon Valley, said that they would back me. In fact, I've got 4 people who each put in $250,000 for my campaign to be mayor. I don't know if I'm going to do it yet. He's like, wants the other guests to like talk him into doing it. He's like, yeah, I don't know if I'll do it, but I have the backing and I really think I could do a great job.
So
It's like, and then he stops there. And it's
Yeah, this is one of those where it's like, I'm doing it, but I'm going to,
right.
I'm going to soften it first. I'm going to kind of say it. You're going to start hearing Jason for mayor, Jason for mayor, Jason for mayor. Right. Shit, he should be mayor.
Sometimes he'll test out some issues like, hey, I'm going to take the side of like the people that are offended by the trolls on Twitter. You know, I don't normally do that, but, women have issues.
But Jason for mayor.
Jason for mayor. Maybe. I haven't.
How did that sound to you?
Right.
Did you-